Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Tuesday, January 8th, 2019. And today we're going to go over some comments and just do some follow-up on a couple of things and then get into our earthquake report. And I took this picture in 2008, and this is over Reno, Nevada, and it was a long series of clouds that pretty much took up the whole sky from north to south. So just another example of strange phenomena, things that we cannot explain. And so I just start with that interesting picture. Now let's start with I had a message from Dave Allcock. He follows earthquakes and volcanoes very closely. He's a real smart guy over in the UK, and some of his predictions are pretty right on with seismic activity and different things. So I just thought I'd go over a message he sent me first. And Dave says, "Hi Margo, hope you're well. Looking like my original prediction for major seismic activity for the third week of January is about to come true, as well as upcoming magnitude 8s due to the recent deep earthquakes. I think there will be a massive volcanic blast, either Hawaii, Stromboli, or to everyone's surprise, Lombok if Krakatoa calms down." And yeah, and he had messaged me a few weeks ago and said that, you know, he expected major activity coming up for the third week of January because we've got this blood moon coming up and different things, and I agree. So, you know, we're just watching everything roll along. And then he says, "I was just wondering if you were still checking on Antarctica. I was having a zoom around earlier, and it appears the Amory ice shelf is what I can only describe as liquefying. Anyway, I like the new style of your updates with the photos and that. It's very pleasing to me. Take care, Margo, Crazy Dave." And so thank you, Dave, for that communication there. I appreciate all of the communications that we have. And he sent me a picture of NASA Worldview of this Amory ice sheet from January 7th. So let's just go over to NASA Worldview and see what he's talking about. So I have NASA Worldview for the Antarctic pulled up here. So if we zoom in, right up here is the Amory ice sheet, and here's from yesterday the 7th. And what he was referring to is this area back up here that's not coming out over the water. Let me enlarge this. And what we can see is it does look like melting. I don't know if these are melt pools on the ice like what we've seen in articles on the Arctic. It could be melt pools where it's melting and then before it runs off it's pooling up. I really don't know. Now these are mountains that have been exposed with the melting of the ice and the snow, and of course it's still, the sun's still up down there, and here are more exposed rocky areas. But this is one of the big ice sheets in Antarctica, and so we see a lot of blue here. And let's see how much of this is covered up with clouds. Okay, what I turned on is the ice surface temperature, and so we can see the ice. That's where the ice is visible, and where it's not colored, it's clouds on this ice sheet. So let's turn this off. So all of this is the ice sheet, and then down here is clouds, and then here's the ice sheet down here coming out into the ocean there. So it looks like it could be having some melting up here to the west, and then I don't know what the terrain is like there on this ice sheet. It looks like it's not just totally smooth. It probably goes up and down and around and curves and things. So that ice has a journey to take before it can get down to the ocean. So I don't know, that's interesting. But while we're down here, let's just take a peek at what's going on. So let's go on over to today. And well, let's just look at it from today, and we see the same area with the blue, and it looks like ponding or pooling of the water. Let's look at, while we're here, the temperature in this area is at 269.4 degrees Kelvin. So the freezing point for water at Kelvin is like 272. That's for fresh water, and it's lower than that for salt water. But it could be melting even with it cooler, or under the 272. This is 269, and then as it gets up, it's all about in the 269 range, and then it goes down colder, down towards the edge of the water, which is interesting. That's 261, so for whatever reason it's colder down there. But most of it is cloud free, but the sun's still up, and it's melting. And if you've seen the articles, Antarctica, the ice has the sea ice is at its lowest extent for this time of year, pretty much ever. And so we can see that the ice has pretty much melted. Let's look at, I'll show you. Okay, so I turned on the blue marble layer. Let's add the sea ice layer, and let's just do not the snow, let's just do sea ice concentration. We'll turn that on. Oh, and it takes a couple of days for it to process. So here's the sea ice that's left as of January 6th around Antarctica, and the concentration. And we can see the more blue it is, the less concentrated it is. The less thick it is, the less concentrated it is. And we can see down here on the Ross ice shelf, it's completely melted in this Ross Sea. There's just a little bit left down here. It's completely melted up to the coastline on this east side, pretty much all around this east side. Just a little bit left down here on the southern side to the east of the Ross Sea. There's some still left on the southwestern side, and still some left over here in the Weddell Sea, and over here off the Western Peninsula. So let's turn that off and go back to our regular view here and look at today. And I want to zoom in a couple of places and just catch you up on what's going on. Right down here is the Pine Island Glacier area, and remember that a huge iceberg, a huge new portion had broken off, and I'd showed that, I don't know, about a month ago. And here is a really good view today of how much it's, where it was cracked, it's all separated now and all breaking up. That big iceberg is breaking up, and so that it's not going out to sea yet, because this is all sea ice that hasn't melted yet, but it's breaking up. We can see that the sea ice down here is melting and breaking up, but as long as we still have sea ice up here holding in these icebergs, they'll stay up there for this season. So there's that. And let's go up here to the Larsen ice shelves and see what's going on. Now here was Larsen A was up here. This whole area had been Larsen A. This was Larsen B, and then down here was Larsen C. And remember, this big iceberg A68 had broken off. And remember, it had been down here, and it's been moving and rotating around since December, or since the summer. And so what we're seeing, it's hard to see because it's cloud covered here, but the iceberg, this is the edge of the iceberg, and you can kind of make it out if you know what to look for. Let's turn on. Okay, well, this is not cloud covered. There are clouds right over here on the edge. So it's weird. So it's still rotating. Let's go back. And it's been cloud covered down there for a long time, and so it's been hard to see what's going on. But it almost looks like that sea ice that coming over from the Weddell Sea is kind of pushed up against that iceberg. Oh, there was some. Look, here's some beaming. Look, that is very pronounced. That's as close as I can go in. So here's evidence of beaming. That was on December 28th, right down here. Oh, they're doing it everywhere. So anyway, that was just a peek at the Antarctic to see what's going on. So now let's go over to our comments over on YouTube. And we'll just start with not my video from yesterday, but the one from the day before where I was showing the harpering and showing the beaming on NASA Worldview. Robert Crane says, wow. Yeah, wow is right. And if you missed that video, you want to go back and watch that and see that's the big cloud that I took a picture of that was the harpering. Earth Angel says in the news, and this is another article about Greenland melting, the ice sheets melting, and that it's another source of methane. So thank you, Earth Angel. It's a different article, but yeah, I've covered that as well. But that's always good to have. Huge Azoli says both methane and CO2 are not working on cams. Hope is just a coincidence and not on purpose. And let's hop up here to Eric SFCA says, "Hi Margo, cams is broke. Methinks you really opened up a can of worms. We plebs weren't supposed to see what is going on." And I responded and said, "Looks like no methane or CO2 data there." Robin Westenra opened a challenge on Facebook for someone besides myself to open a support ticket with cams and see if they'll release the data. So far as no one has taken him up on it. And I don't have any interest in opening a support ticket with cams to say where's the data. But here's what's showing up now. There is no data right now for methane or carbon dioxide, but everything else, you can see all of these, starting with aerosol forecast, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, and UV index, and fire activities. That's all current. You can click on any one of these and you've got data from today. So it doesn't make any sense. Oh, speaking of, let's look at sulfur dioxide. It's really interesting. Let's go to the global view here. And look over here in Indonesia. This is in that area where they're having all those earthquakes. Let's go to the PDF version of that. This is from today. And blow it up. And look at this area. Now actually, they've had a lot of earthquakes all the way around down here. The area that's been so active was right up here. But remember, the sulfur dioxide can be released near, not right next to the earthquake, but in an area near it. And then the earthquakes will happen or the volcanoes will go off. So I found that interesting, so I thought I would share that. So let's leave that. Let's go back to our comments. So I'll scroll back down. I'm going to skip this comment. It was a really good one. It was on the Jordan Maxwell interview that I did with him 2.5 years ago. So if anyone wants to read that comment, they can. I'm going to try and keep the comments to the ones that are on the earthquakes and climate casts and stuff like that. Thanks, Tom Donaldson says, "Thanks, Margo, even though it's a very sad ongoing story." I know, Tom, and he's remarking on my show from yesterday about 5G satellites beaming the Earth and what they have plans for. And it's awful. What they have planned, it's absolutely horrendous. Tom Bell comments under my video from yesterday. "Thank you for sharing this very interesting and important document. The author of this paper sounds like someone worth investigating to find out more. It's a shame the video YouTube link wasn't left, but maybe it can be found with a little research. Your videos are important to me, so please keep up your great work, Margo. Thank you, T." I say thank you, Tom Bell. The following is another article with the same information with links and references. And so we'll just click on that. I'll show you this. Actually, Robin Westenra found this and posted it, and it's the same article, but it's from a different website, but it's I mean word for word the same. And you know, a lot of times these articles come out and then they're repeated, so I don't know who the originator of this was. It could have been John Thomas. It's from Health Impact News by John P. Thomas, and it's healthimpactnews.com. And this is the whole article, and so, and then down at the bottom he has all the links and references. The Cell Phone Task Force, House, New Mexico, August 2nd, and this is a link to the I'll show you that, and I showed that link yesterday. That's a link to that 30-minute explanation by Arthur Furstenberg that was excellent at putting it all together for everybody. That's just a real good introduction if you want a short introduction to that. And then there are all these links to articles about the risks of 5G and other forms of radio frequency exposure, and so on and so forth. And then here's about John P. Thomas. He's a health writer for Health Impact News. He holds a BA in psychology from the University of Michigan and a Master of Science in Public Health from the School of Public Health, Department of Health Administration at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And then here are all the references. So he probably was the one that wrote the article, and then the I found it posted on a Facebook group that I follow, the MFA Media Group. So that's how I found it, but I didn't know where it came from. So this looks like a really good website, and so you know, I recommend people come on over here and check out more articles by John Thomas, and more things in the news and news categories. They have you know, alternative health, medicine watch, sustainable agriculture, real food nutrition, and so on and so forth. This is his story about how he got saved, basically how he got saved and met Jesus and God, and they have a newsletter and all this stuff. So that's a good website too. Now moving on up, JF Howe says, "Hi Margo, thanks for this. I recently watched a very informative video on the subject of 5G. Here's the link. I would urge anyone who wants to learn more to watch this video." And I kind of jumped around through it. My friend watched the whole thing and he was just raving about it. It's kind of long, but click on the link, and this woman goes through her journey of learning about radio frequencies and how they damage the DNA and all this stuff. And most of the information she's showing in that video is pre-5G. And so, because 5G is just now coming in. But the fact is that we've been damaged. I'll finish with his comment, and then I'll comment a little more. One shocking fact is that RF levels allowable in US and Canada is 100 times higher than other countries like China and Russia. These levels are far higher than are safe to humans. 1 microwatt per squared centimeter can cause headaches and dizziness. 6 causes DNA damage. The limit in China, Poland, and Russia is 10. The limit in the U.S. is 600 to 1,000 megawatts to squared centimeters. Yeah, it's insane. It's like they're trying to kill us, and not just us, but all life on the planet. And, the other animals and the birds and the bees and the insects, they are much more sensitive to these waves than we are. And, I saw an article where was it? They were testing the 5G over in, I don't know where it was, Sweden or somewhere, and all these birds fell down dead in the park. Like instantly, hundreds of birds, starlings, fell down. And it just so happened the frequency was the same frequency as what starlings are on. And they all just, it's evil and it's diabolical. And I do believe it is the dark mind. And this is Satan's world. And we're seeing it more and more and more, and this is the revealing. This is the apocalypse in the end times, and apocalypse means revealing, that all will be revealed in the end, and so that you can take your stand and realize that this is Satan's domain, and it has been all along, and it's just in your face, and the only way out is spiritually, and that's my message. I mean, the only way out is spiritually. It's not physical. There's no fixing this, because nobody's going to listen, because the man in charge is evil. The big guy in charge down here is evil, and there's no fixing it. You either sell out and do it, and get the money and the power and the whatever with it, and you die, and then all regular biological life suffers and dies. And I want to share one more website, and there are links that you can go to here. And if you want to learn more about 5G, this article came out on January the 5th from Waking Times, and it's called UN Staffer Warns That 5G is a War on Humanity. And here's pictures of the boxes that are coming. And it's a whole long article. It's really good. I'm not going to read it today. I might read it in another show. But if people want to learn more about 5G and what's coming, read this. And this is, let me refresh this.
Mr. Secretary General, UN staff have repeatedly been told that they are the most important resource of this organization.
I don't want to get a YouTube strike, so I'm not going to play it. But this is a short video from the UN, and this is a UN staff member asking the Secretary General to please remove the boosters for the Wi-Fi and the cell phones that were placed on the metal buildings where the UN staff had been meeting for the last 2 years, because a whole bunch of them had gotten sick and had done research and had figured out that they were getting sick because of these extra Wi-Fi boosters and cell phone boosters that had been put on the top of the building. And he's just like, well, this is the first I've ever heard of this. And she was saying, and oh, by the way, 5G is coming in. It's really bad, and it needs to be studied and this and that before it's rolled out. And he's like, well, this is the first I've heard of it. And then the rest of the congregation is like laughing. He's saying, oh, well, I put those in my ceiling at home. And she's like, well, that's not a good idea. And everybody's laughing. It's like, so what? So it's really eye-opening. And then this is a good article that's written. And then, look at this picture. Man, I see that. I see that everywhere I go. Then, if you want to be an activist and see if you can do anything, there's an appeal. People are trying to stop the 5G space. This is the Stop 5G Space appeal. You can click here and you can sign up and to appeal it. So you can click right there, and there's a whole website. It's an international appeal to stop 5G on Earth and in space. And so for anybody who wants to read, you can read the appeal. It's very long. It's quite detailed. It will tell you everything you want to know about radio frequency dangers, 2, 3, 4, and now 5G. But remember, 5G is not the end. There's 6G coming up as well. So, I encourage anyone, if they want to read it, if they want to sign it, the organizations can sign it. So I'm doing my part to put it out there to let people know. I'm not an activist because I just think it's all too late, considering everything, and I really don't think that there's a physical fix to what's going on down here, and I think time is short. And by the time they get done with doing the appeal and doing the investigation, Elon Musk is already going to have 10,000 satellites out there. So they're going ahead and doing all this stuff without asking anybody's permission, and knowing exactly what they're doing. That it's to kill humanity. And the world, and God's creation. That's the bottom line. One more thing I want to show over here on Worldview. Talk about beaming. I want to show you from yesterday. This is the United States, and just zooming in over, here's Reno, Nevada, where I live, and this area was heavily beamed. This area over here to the east, in eastern Nevada and into Utah, was heavily beamed. My electricity went out in the middle of the night before last, and it was out for 7 hours. It was cold. We had a winter storm come in. It was snowing, and and then here's this beaming, so I wonder if they blew something up. Actually, it was out for 5 hours, then they got it fixed, and then about an hour later it went out for 2 more hours. And I got to practice my prepping skills. But there you go. So it's happening all over the planet, and they're not going to ask your permission, because this is a worldwide thing being done by, look at this, by the powers that be. And here's some more down here in California. Look at this down here. Just don't get me started. I just can't stop once I get started on this. So we'll put that up as a backdrop now. Oh, let's put our picture up as a backdrop, as a gray backdrop. And I've got Google Earth ready because I want to show you something on the Japan earthquake that happened. I get started talking about beaming and I can't stop. So I will leave links to those articles. If the UN can't do anything, nobody can do anything. And they won't. You know, they've had climate scientists approach the UN, and you know, what did they do for that? They didn't do anything. They just kept heating it up. Okay. Let's get to our earthquake report. I have USGS pulled up. Last 24 hours, all magnitudes, and we're showing 246 earthquakes on the map. But we're going to start with 2.5 magnitudes for the last 24 hours. And we're going to start with the one that's most interesting to me, which is the 6.3 that happened in Japan this morning at 4:39 a.m. my time. That was 35 kilometers deep. When you zoom in, now here's the mainland Japan. Fukushima is up here, so this is not near Fukushima. So when you zoom in, we can see it's to the west of this red plate line, and there's a small island down here that it happened on the land. And I want to show you something. When you zoom in here, because I was trying to figure out what was down here. The epicenter is almost on the coast, but not quite. And what? Oh, I was going to show you. I don't know if it's on. I thought it was on this map. There's a space center right down here, near here. So I'm wondering, because there's not much reporting. There's not much reporting being done on this earthquake at all, and they're saying there was no damage, and you know, it shook a little bit, but it was a 6.3 earthquake. And you know, seriously, you know, oh, here it is. The Tanegashimi Space Center is right next to that. So I'm wondering if they tried to have liftoff of something, and instead of lifting off, it fell back to the ground and caused the earthquake. And that's why they're not reporting on it. That's just my paranoid mind. So who knows? So let's go over to Google Earth and look at it and see what's over there. The Space Center is not on Google Earth because it's top secret. And it's right there. There you go. And what we see, here's the Pacific Ocean over here on the east. And there's a highway that goes right along the coast here. And then it looks like, when you zoom in, it looks like hills and like a hillside or a mountain or something. Here's the highway, see, that goes all along here. And this is all forest covered, and then the earthquake happened right here in the middle of the, I guess this is forest. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. It's vegetated, and there's an airport over here. Look, here's some water over here, little lakes. And where was the airport? Can't find it now. Oh, let's go back up. Oh, here's the airport. Tanegashima. See? And you want to see something weird? That runway says 31, right? On that end it says 31. And on this end it says 13. So I thought that was interesting. So maybe that's the Space Center. I don't know. Oh, let's see what this... Oh, that's in Japanese. I don't know what that says. It's a tourist attraction, whatever it is. So, there's that. So that, I just found all that kind of interesting. And there's a school up there, not right where the earthquake happened, but it seems to me like somebody would have felt it and would have reported it. And it seems to me like that big of an earthquake, it would have caused damage of some kind, especially being near that road. So I just found that interesting. So while we're over here, let's start going around this ring of fire. Let's go over to this earthquake that was, it was in near Oshkosham, Afghanistan, 119 kilometers deep. It happened last night. Right up there. So we saw this big one. Now let's go on around. There was one at Taiwan. This was actually in the ocean off the coast of Taitung City, Taiwan. It was a 4.9, 23 kilometers deep. It happened at 4:16 this morning, Pacific time. Down here in the Philippines, we had a 4.3 in the ocean, 96 kilometers south-southwest of Maitum, Philippines, 491 kilometers deep. That was very deep. So whenever you have them really deep like that, it's going to affect the plate movement. It's going to make the plates move. 4.7 near Salmlaki, Indonesia, 31 kilometers deep. Here's a 5.2 near Sibungur, Indonesia, 65 kilometers deep. 4.7 Sindang Sari, Indonesia, 10 kilometers deep. And we saw the sulfur dioxide coming up over here near Papua New Guinea. So this is definitely active. Did we get this one? Nope. Here's a 4.7 near Marizo Village, Guam, 10 kilometers deep. Then there was a 5.2 near Neafu, Tonga, 10 kilometers deep. That was this morning at 6:49 a.m. Pacific time. So I think that's all of those over on the west side. Now, let's come over here. South America had a 4.3 at Iquique, Chile, 34 kilometers deep. Peru, 5.1 near Saquinua, Peru, 10 kilometers deep. That's big enough to cause damage. Let's go up here to, well, and the rest is United States territory. So let's go to this other map to get all magnitudes. Let's do Hawaii next. We have 10 earthquakes here in the map area, ranging from a 2.4 down to 1.7, 1.2. All on the mainland there. Then let's go on over to Dominican Republic. They've had 16 over here, and in the upper twos, here's a 3 at Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. 3.0 Road Town, British Virgin Islands. 2.7 Puerto Rico. 3.0 Punta Cana. Here's a 3.2 Puerto Rico. 2.8. Those are the bigger ones. This is a 2.8 at Boca de Yuma, Dominican Republic, 52 kilometers deep. Now let's go up to Alaska. There was one out here, 3.6. This is the Aleutian Islands at near False Pass, Alaska, 21 kilometers deep. 3.0 near Chiricahua Island, Alaska, 70 kilometers deep. Here's a 3.2 near Middleton Island, Alaska, 5.2 kilometers deep. And nothing on the northern end. And then they're just peppered through. Let's see how many total we have. 96 here. Let's look on this map to see if we can see the biggest ones. Yeah, I think I got the biggest ones. 2.5 at Redoubt Volcano. 2.7 Anchorage. 2.7 Big Lake. 2.5 Valdez. 2.8 Deltona, and then the rest are under those. So we zoom in, and they're really stacked over there in the Anchorage area, and just peppered around. Now let's come down to the United States. This one was a 3.7, 9 kilometers northwest of Hollandale, Mississippi, 16 kilometers deep. This is in the New Madrid seismic area. Let's show you that. Hazard zone. It's actually to the south of it, but it's still, I consider it in that same area because it's right down along that Mississippi River. Let's go up here to Yellowstone. Turn that off. We have a 0.8 right down here. Let me move it up. This is actually in Idaho, but it says 13 kilometers northwest of West Yellowstone, Montana. Yeah, Montana's over. Wait. Yeah. Montana's up here. This is Wyoming. I'm having a brain fart. Okay. So we had that. We had a 1.1 at Lincoln and a 1.5 at Wisdom, Montana. So there's those. Let's go up to the Pacific Northwest. We've got a few more here today. 1.4 Castle Rock, Washington, right down here. 2.3 Euclid, I can't say that. Euclid, Canada, right up here in the ocean. 11 kilometers deep. 1.1 Eatonville, Washington, right down here. 2.3, this is northwest of Seattle, near Sequim, Washington, 40 kilometers deep. 2.1 near Port Ludlow, Washington, 22 kilometers deep. So we got all those. Now, let's see. Okay, nothing in Utah or Arizona or the other southwest. Okay, let's start making our way down up here. We've got two in Lassen Park. Mount Lassen is an old volcano, and it's right up here in Lassen Park. There was a 0.7 and a 0.6. It's near Mineral, California. But we can see this is Lassen Park, Lassen Peak. And this is all the Lassen volcano area. So there's that. Let's see what else is up here. Here's a 1.9 near Hamilton City. And here's Oroville. Remember Oroville had that blast, explosion, chemical explosion. Yeah. 2.3 at Redwood Valley, California. Let's see how deep this one was. That was a 1.8. Okay. This one just came in. 1.5 at the geysers, and we only have two there today, and a 1.0 at the geysers. Let's go on over to the west here. Okay. 0.5 at Portola. 0.3 at Portola. A 0 at Portola, 4.5 kilometers deep. So we're seeing more activity here. Here's two here. Here's a 1.3 at Cold Springs, Nevada. This is in the Reno area. And a 0.7 at Cold Springs. So those happened. This one happened last night. This one happened last night. So those happen within 3 hours of each other. So here's Reno. Then down here was a 0.3 at north of Incline Village. This is in the Mount Rose area. Here's a 1.0 near Virginia City, 1.9 kilometers deep. Here's a 1.5 near Fernley, Nevada, 11.2 kilometers deep. Now that Tahoe Reno Industrial Center with the Tesla factory and blockchains and all of that, that's over here. That's right down here. And then up to the north of it is part of the Indian reservation. But they're doing stuff on both sides of the road. Okay, here was a 1.1 at Silver Springs. Here was a 0.1 at Indian Hills, well, down in Carson City. .2 in California. 0.8 at Smith Valley. 0.9 at Bridgeport. 1.1. Oh wow, look at all these down by Mono Lake. We saw a whole bunch yesterday too, remember? 12. We've got 12 down here. In the 1s to 2, here's the 2.1 at Bodie. This is an active area, as you know. Let's finish up Nevada. Look at this cluster here. This was at Hawthorne. 6 right here, all on top of each other. They're small, 0.9 up to 1.6, but they're all in the same place. 1.8, 0.4, and oh, here's a bigger one. Here's a 2.2 at Current, Nevada. You know, Nevada. When you're not from here, you say Nevada. But the first thing you have to learn how to do when you move here is say Nevada, if you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. Okay, here was a 2.1 magnitude earthquake caused by an explosion at Tonopah at 0 kilometers deep. So that sounds like a blast to me. So there's that. Then down here is near the nuclear test site and all that. So we're not going to mess with those. Now let's zoom in and check all this out. This is in that Long Valley area. Near that, see Long Valley? This is all part of that Long Valley caldera. 1.9, 1.5, 0.9, 0.8 over here. It's everything in the viewing thing. 0.6, 1, and 0.8. So we've got 8 in the viewing area there. Let's come on down. Okay, Little Lake. I mean, they're just popping up all over the place. 0.2 Little Lake, 1.9 Kernville. Here's a quarry blast, a 1.9 quarry blast, 5 kilometers north of Boren, California. 0.3 kilometers deep. Now, they do mine borax in California. So, and it was boron, California. So I wonder if that's where that borax quarry is. I'll bet that's where they mine it. Anyway, just a thought. Down here in Mexico was a 1.8. 1.2 near at Los Angeles. View Park, Windsor Hills. Let's just zoom in and see what we've got here. We've got 38 total here. Dotted around. I remember most of them are stacked up here in this Kauai area. Small. These are under 1. The biggest one is the 1.1 at Borrega Springs, right there. But remember, little ones add up. Now let's come up the coastline. And here's this red line for the San Andreas Fault. 1.4 at Tres Pinos. 1.4 at San Martin. Here we are in the San Francisco area. 1.4 near Dublin. And a 2.0 near Fairview. 3.5 kilometers deep. I think we already saw those. That was the geysers. Redwood Valley. Yeah, we saw those. 2.3 there. And I think that's it. Let's see if anything else came in while we were doing our report. It sure did. We've got a 4.7. This is another 4.7 down here in Guam. So we've had 2 right at the same place, right on that red line there. So let's see how far apart these were. This one just came in at 3:18. No, it's 4:18 p.m. And this one happened at 2:33. So less than 2 hours apart. 4.7. And they're almost exactly in the same place. Almost exactly the same. Let's see if anything else of significance came in. We saw False Pass. We saw that. We had another 4.3 at the Philippines come in. Let's zoom into that right down here. That came in after I started. And that's it. So we're finishing up at 4:54 p.m. Pacific time. So, until next time, my name is Margo. And like I said, I do believe that time is short, and I recommend everyone get their spiritual houses in order. And my website is margoshealingcorner.com. I do life coaching and spiritual coaching. Help people with spiritual guidance and coaching, holistic life coaching, just help you sort things out, and we can do prayers, and you can have someone to talk to. And I'm not judgmental, but I will offer spiritual guidance and spiritual advice. And it's coming from a spiritual standpoint of connecting with God and Jesus and the angels. So until next time, God bless everyone. I love you all. Be safe and go in peace, and goodbye.